Hey, you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the new and upcoming VPA that has recently passed in Colorado and was attempted but did not pass in Florida. This stands for Veterinary Professional Associate, pretty much, which is like a PA in the human world. And we're going to talk about facts about what this is, how it affects veterinary medicine, and how it affects you as pet owners.
Yeah, we gotta give out a shout out to the Florida VMA. They were able to hold these people back. They were trying to pass the same law, bypassing the veterinarians,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't successful.
Yep.
So shout out to Dr. Sutcliffe and his crew for the good work they did.
Yep. He always keeping us updated on stuff. Um, yeah, so we'll start a little bit about kind of what this is, what the VPA is, and some misinformation that's kind of been spreading around about it. Just to clarify for those veterinarians and non-veterinarians who might want to know what it is. So tell us a little bit about what it is, Carlos.
So in human medicine there is practitioner assistant. So they work with a doctor, but in my experience, they leave them alone. They're pretty much in a clinic by themselves. But these VPAs, they would have to do 2 years of college, get an associate, then another 2 years, get their BA, and then they get a master. So it'll be 6 years. And then they would have to work under a veterinarian, but they wouldn't be able to diagnose or dispense
Mm-hmm.
without a veterinarian present.
Yeah,
So what they were trying to do is that the veterinarian wasn't there physically,
right, right.
and
So the VPA cannot establish a VCPR, which is a veterinary client patient relationship, and they cannot prescribe medications. So even if you're getting these VPAs out there, if your dog needs medication or anything extreme, you have to still get it prescribed by a veterinarian. So realistically, there's still going to be a veterinarian wherever these VPAs are, and that's been a really difficult topic. I think I've got some bullet points here about they cannot establish this, and they don't have any independent prescribing authority at all, and they're not minor technicalities. This is like the foundation to veterinary practice is like prescribing medications for these patients that we develop a professional relationship with. So this is going to be like a huge major change if these guys are just coming in but can't legally actually prescribe anything without a veterinarian there.
because they're saying this is gonna help. There's a veterinary scarcity, so they're saying, well, they're gonna help out in rural areas, and they're basically fill in the gap, but they can't really do anything without a vet. Like
Yeah.
they're more like a veterinary technician, and it seems like they bypassed the veterinary technician. And just today,
Mm-hmm.
they what's that called? The NAFTA,
Yeah, the NAVTA, National
NAVTA.
Association of Veterinary Technicians of America, or something along those lines, NAVTA.
They are opposed to it too. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, why don't they let us do more stuff? Why
Yep.
they gotta make
Yeah,
a
they
new position?
they literally announced their opposition to the VPA bill, the Technician Association of the country. And that's because A, we already have very fantastic, well-trained veterinary technicians, licensed veterinary technicians, certified veterinary technicians throughout the country who play a vital role in helping veterinarians and running veterinary practices. And really, what we should be doing is getting more of a pathway if we're looking for more help, get more of a pathway for these licensed technicians to go in a place where they can have more responsibilities and more power versus now just creating some intermediate position where they get to bypass a lot of the stuff that is really important with our veterinary technicians, that the skills they have, and it's just pretty much a title, and it's pretty much just another money making opportunity for large universities.
Yeah, I don't know who's behind it. Probably big money. But
Yeah.
I thought they were just trying to bypass the veterinarians, and it was like, well, the veterinarians don't want it, so we're just gonna go to the politicians, and it didn't work. They should go to another state. Florida doesn't want it. Nobody wants it. it's better they should go.
Nowhere. I don't know where to go. I don't know where they should go. Nobody wants it there. It's
We don't
really
want it.
no. Nobody wants it. And
They'll be back though next year.
yeah,
Usually in the spring they
yeah.
come in. They're gonna come in with things like it's gonna help your pet and it's gonna decrease the cost. And you're like, how? How's it gonna do that?
They say that, but there's really no way, no evidence to support that. Just like they're saying it's going to help these rural communities. But in reality, if they actually, these people, these VPAs have no prescribing power and they can't literally do anything without a veterinarian, even in these rural communities, they're still going to have a veterinarian there in order for them to be like licensed under. Because remember, these VPAs actually are under the license of a veterinarian. So if something gets messed up, a VPA does something wrong, guess whose butt is on the line? That veterinarian that they're working under, not the VPA. The veterinarian is on the line, who is in charge of them.
But in Colorado, it did pass. So they were able to. There was some. It was like a shelter that had a lot of influence. So they passed it, Proposition 129, and now the university there has a program. And just this week, they had an article in VIN about these two. Are they veterinarians?
Yes,
They're
are both
veterinarians.
They're both doctors. Yep.
And they're going for it. And there's a lot of. I want to explain to you what the AVMA is. Some people don't know. It's sort of like American Veterinary Medical Association, and it's made up of veterinarians. That they're the ones that recommend policy to politicians. And think about it. Who do you think knows more about veterinary medicine than veterinarians? So a lot of these corporations try to influence politicians, try to bypass them to get their way. And there's the AVMA, which is national. Let's say they're like the Yankees. And then we have the Florida VMA. Well, let's say that's the Jumbo Shrimps. So it's like a minor league. And then we're in a local VMA. It's called the Jacksonville VMA. So they're all made of veterinarians. And you got to understand, everybody has their interest. But who has better interest for animals than veterinarians?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why we chose this profession in the first place. We love animals and we want to protect them and make this world a better place, because with animals, this world is a better place. But yeah, the two doctors that in that VIN article Dr. Carlos was talking about is Dr. Sherry Lanning and Dr. Wayne Jensen. Dr. Sherry Lanning is an expert in online learning and designing curriculums and instruction to meet the diverse needs of all students with internet access with interest in access to veterinary care. And she is the director of this master's program. And then Dr. Wayne Jensen is a professor in the clinical sciences department in Colorado. And he is the one that first proposed this degree almost 10 years ago. And he thought that this mid-level practitioner role would help shelters around the country and expand career opportunities in veterinary medicine. But in reality, that is definitely not the way that the veterinarians in this country see that.
Because this course is going to be online, 3 semesters online.
Yep.
And then the last one, they got to do clinical work, maybe go to a clinic. And in your opinion, how many hours was it?
So it's 3 semesters online, and those semesters are 3 days a week for half days. So about 4 hours a day, 3 days a week for 3 semesters. Then they have a laboratory semester with like 400 or 500 hours of lab time. And then they have a clinical semester of about approximately 540 hours of clinical time working in the field. So if you compare that to veterinary students, we have a whole year, sometimes more, sometimes 15 months of clinics where you're having 13, 14-hour days, 6-7 days a week, and you're constantly in the hospital atmosphere. And then these guys come in, with 1 semester, which is 3 to 4 months of training, 500 hours. It just does not compute with and what if we compare it to human medicine, nurse practitioners require like 1,500 to 2,000 hours of supervised clinical practice, and they have to pass the NCLEX, and they have to have a Bachelor of Science in nursing, and they have usually a master's in nursing. So there's so much more that goes into that as they try to compare this to a VPA. Same with a PA. a physician's assistant, which is really what this is being most compared to. And physician's assistants have to have a Bachelor of Science degree, and then they graduate a physician assistant program with 2,000 plus clinical hours of clinical training, and they pass the PANCE exam, which is like the PA board exam. So just so much more is involved with these mid-level practitioners or nurse practitioners in the human world versus what we're trying to throw in there in a VPA world.
Yeah, these online courses, I know them well. I was telling you that we're having some issues with my HOA, and I'm a property manager. I was
Who knew?
I was playing Halo 3.
And a notary.
The best game ever, Halo 3. So I downloaded the book, and then I listened to the audiobook, and then I took the property manager exam, and I passed it, right? And then I did the same thing for the notary. So I'm a notary and a property manager.
God.
So I don't know how good these people are gonna be if they're just like playing video games and just learning to be VPAs.
Yeah, because I mean, for 12 hours a week for the first 3 semesters, it's just not a lot.
Yeah.
Like we were going to 4 hours of lecture a day for years in vet school. 4 hours a day for years of 2 semesters a year for 3 years, at least where I went. So just the comparison is it's non-comparable. It's silly.
I think the first 2 years of college are just a waste of time.
Oh yeah, I took BS classes. Let's be real.
You remember, like in college, they had electives that were mandatory. I thought that was ridiculous. The first 2 years is basically high school. They should just let these the certified veterinary technicians just go into the program.
Right, exactly.
They do this thing, and maybe they could get some other title.
Yep. And there was, that's one of the real problems that the NAVTA was during their Zoom meeting that they had about this, is they were like, this does not actually give any opportunity for veterinary technicians to excel and, how would you word it, like progress in their profession. Because most veterinary technicians, not all, have an associate's degree, and then they get their technician license, and they're super important, and they're very well skilled, very well talented. They're the reason veterinarians can do what we do. But this program, this VPA program, requires them to have a bachelor's degree. So you're totally skipping these very talented technicians who want and are in the profession and have so much potential to move forward with someone that has a Bachelor of Science and then just has an interest in veterinary medicine but maybe no experience, and pursuing them right to the top, right above these licensed credentialed technicians who have been in the field for years. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't like it.
Shout out to the vet techs.
Yes, we love you.
Do you remember
Seriously.
when I started, I didn't know much, and the techs would tell me what to do. They're like, oh, I've seen this before. I think this is this.
Yes, all new doctors are babies.
And then they know, they have a lot of experience of that area.
Yep.
Because you see the same things over and over, and they're like, oh, the other doctor did this. Oh, what did the other doctor do? So
Yep.
they just have a lot of, like, there's like book learning, and then there's like clinical learning. So there's a lot of clinical that they know. They just need a little bit of book, like pharmacology, physiology, anatomy, which is basically what they're trying to teach these VPAs.
Absolutely. Also, there was the statement about, what does a VPA make? What's their salary? Which this is an interesting topic because
that was a zinger.
Yes, because it's like we don't actually have anything to compare to. You cannot compare it to PAs and nurse practitioners because the human medicine world is totally different. So there was a study or something done in Florida about a guy in 2024 had a comprehensive proposal for this master's program and did an anticipated salary being approximately 60 to 75% of a veterinary salary, which is crazy, by the way. Because if any of you know what technicians make, it is not nearly anywhere 60 to 75% of what a veterinarian makes. So I think this is just silly. That's personal opinion. But there's really no facts in this statement because we really don't have anything to compare it to. And they were basically like, so it was actually Dr. Jim Lloyd. He's a former dean of Florida and an economist. And we're throwing these names out here because these are real things. People need to know like who is behind this and what these theories are. They did a study where they modeled the financial impact of hiring one VPA into a 3.5 doctor veterinary practice, which would be like 3 full-time doctors and 1 part-time doctor. And they were saying, in a small animal practice, not large animal, because VPAs are only small animals, not large animal. And they basically were like, okay, they would do things like rechecks, they would do wellness visits, but also
But they
if any
said,
veterinarian okay, set the salary at $100,000 for this VPA, which I was like, ... what? Because my first job in the rural community, veterinarian, was not $100,000. That's opinionated, not fact.
Yeah, my first job I made 80, and the clinic was called like, and they basically taught me how to sell. They
Yeah.
didn't care.
My first job was $72,000. They're talking about these guys making $100,000. What?
It was
No.
basically this clinic made more than that clinic, so it was more like they treat you like baseball players. Like, who has the best averages here?
Yep. It's
And
all about
then
production.
In Miami, 80,000, I thought I was gonna be rich. I was like, after they take taxes,
Not in
and
Miami.
you pay the insurance and you pay this and that. I was like, we could barely get an apartment. That's how bad it was.
It was so bad.
That's why we had to move up here to Jacksonville, because of the cost of living. And now everybody's
Go
like,
Jaguars. Woo!
everybody in Miami's trying to get out of there. They're like, it's like the cost of living is so high.
Yeah, and it's only gone higher since, I'm sure, when you had that
And
problem.
like we talked last time, they say vets are greedy. I was like, we were barely getting by.
We're barely scraping. I lived
living
in a
in Little
camper for
Havana.
2 years. You were living in mini Havana.
But yeah, veterinarians aren't getting rich off these jobs.
No.
I always picture, like, when you get your salary, there's pigs that comes to the trough, right? Like, after the IRS and the insurance and who's the rents, there's nothing left.
Just life. Life is expensive. We have a dog running into us.
Where's the pig?
Well, I hope that this video gave you some idea, some factual, also some opinionated, because realistically, our podcast, we want to throw facts, but we also just want to say how we feel and be opinionated about these things, because we know other veterinarians are feeling this way. So hopefully this video gave you some clarity about the VPA, plus some opinions of some fellow veterinarians that are just hanging out in Jacksonville, Florida. And until next time, we've got a lot of good topics to come. So keep an eye on our podcast posts on Facebook and YouTube. What else? What other social media you have?
Spay and neuter and no VPA. Oh, and you should plug your River City.
Oh, yeah. And if you ever need any assistance in Florida or the state of Georgia, Google River City Veterinary Relief Services. That's me. I'm the owner and veterinarian of the LLC. Do relief, and I am willing to travel.
See you next time. So we're asking for your help. Please let us know what topics are you interested in. And if you're a vet and you want to come hang out with us and drink coffee, sort of, come hang out. We could talk about business or your hopes and dreams, whatever you want to talk about. We should do this Fridays. Huh?
We got lots of good topics. So also, if you are a follower, post in the comments on YouTube or Facebook ads or posts, not ads, and let us know. We're thinking about doing topics on business ownership, small business ownership versus the private equity. Thinking about doing dog food topics, nutraceuticals, HOAs.
Don't get me started. I got stuff to say. I was gonna invite somebody from the neighborhood. And
You should get
they're a bunch
Roundup,
of
Rhonda.
communists. And I'm Cuban. We love revolutions, so I'm trying to do a revolution in this community.
Okay, folks. So if you have anything that you want us to talk about, let us know. We're factual, but also opinionated. So put it in the comments.
And don't forget, spay and neuter.
Spay and neuter.
And vaccinate. And
Vaccinate.
no VPA.